And how you doing, everyone? This is Reverend Jess Foglesong, again from touchbygodchurch.com, and we're online. Our message for today is very important. It is called God Abhors Abortion. He hates abortion. So let's take a look at it, all right? All right. Now, in my eyes, abortion is abhorrent. And I'm sure it is the same in God's view. Knowing His character, it is the convenience of killing of an embryo or fetus growing in the womb, no matter what trimester. The woman decides for various reasons, embarrassment, fear, that she does not want to keep the baby, and instead chooses to abort it. In many countries, it is allowable, depending on their laws. In the United States, it is by law, Roe versus Wade. U.S. 410-113, 1973. And since then, there have been 58 million babies aborted. 58 million human beings aborted. But is it right? I suggest that it is not. That it is a grave mistake. And I believe there will be, and they're presently going on here in America and probably throughout the world, consequences. So it is a grave mistake, one that God emphatically forbids. The killing of the innocent children who cannot defend themselves is tops on God's list of no's. Historically, many societies, including biblical history, have been admonished and even have mysteriously disappeared due to this practice. One example were the Canaanites, who practiced child sacrifice, offering them to their idol gods. One of the main reasons why He gave their land to the Israelites, the land of promise, that it would be the land of milk and honey. Human sacrifice, including children, have been prevalent throughout the world in both small and large societies. Very abhorrent to God. He sees it as playing God, as outright murder, as evil, as repulsive, unlike His character and His government, which is based on love and respect. Let's take a look at some of the writings in history. Our first is from Tertullian, and he lived during AD 197 and on. He wrote, for us, murder is once for all forbidden. So even the child in the womb, while yet the mother's blood is still being drawn on to form the human being, it is not lawful to destroy. To forbid birth is only quicker murder. It makes no difference whether one take away the life of once born or destroy it as it comes to birth. He is a man, he is to be a man. The fruit is always present in the seed. Quote unquote. Also from Hippolytus of Rome. He lived during AD 199 and on. Refutation of all heresies. Chapter 9, verse 17. This is what he says. Hence, women, reputed believers, began to resort to drugs for producing sterility, and to gird themselves round, so to expel what was being conceived on account of their not wishing to have a child either by a slave or by any paltry fellow, for the sake of their family or excessive wealth. Behold, into how great impiety that lawless one has proceeded by inculcating adultery and murder in the same time. And again, Hippolytus of Rome. So, in today's progressive modern societies, abortion is rampant. It's rampant. Nearly all countries take part in this practice, and the death toll is incredibly, as I mentioned, in the millions. At the moment, it is 58 million. It's unbelievable. And the main reason, convenience. I'll repeat that. Convenience. Here in America, ever since records have been compiled, millions of infants have been killed by being aborted, all for the sake of allowing a woman to have a choice, to disregard a human life growing inside of her. And due to the circumstance of her pregnancy, she decides to cast it aside, sacrificing it for her convenience. Now, in God's eyes, there is no reason, none whatsoever, why an infant should be terminated. The action that caused the impregnation has no bearing on the imminent assassination of the outcome, of the offspring. It is a life. It is precious. It is one of a kind. It is created and owned by God. I repeat, owned by God. So what did the early church say? Now, this is from orthodoxytoday.org. Given the Christian understanding of the unborn child, it is hardly surprising that condemnations of abortion appeared early in church history. Possibly the earliest is the pseudonymous Epistle of Barnabas, written in Alexandria, Egypt, between AD 117 and 132. It states, quite unambiguously, quote, "Do not murder a child by abortion, nor commit infanticide. Similarly, a Syrian church manual known as the Didache, literally meaning the teaching, written sometime before AD 140, gives the same stricture in the same, very same words. Do not murder a child by abortion, nor commit infanticide. Now, in both these early sources, abortion is condemned as the murder of a child, not a vegetative fetus, the murder of a child. Another interesting second century condemnation of abortion comes in the form of a popular vision of hell known as the Apocalypse of Peter, written between AD 125 and 150. Many early Christians, like Clement of Alexandria, actually thought it was written by the Apostle Peter, and so regarded it as canonical scripture. Now, the Moratorium fragment, which in Rome in the 2nd century even lists it among the books, though with a proviso, some will not have it read in church. And the books, of course, the canonical scripture. And so some will not have it even read in church. Though certainly not written by Peter, the document does give a valuable insight into the belief of 2nd century Christians regarding abortion. The Apocalypse of Peter first gives us a vision of the torment of murderers being consumed by beasts and covered by worms. Then immediately turns to those women responsible for aborting their unborn children. And near that place in hell, I saw another straight place into which the gore and the filth of those who were being punished ran down and became there as it were a lake. And there sat women having the gore up to their necks, and over against them sat many children who were born to them out of due time, crying. And there came forth from them sparks of fire, and smote the women in the eyes. And these were the accursed who conceived and caused abortion. Again, the Apocalypse of Peter and chapter 26. So, according to the Apocalypse of Peter, those guilty of abortion suffer next to common murderers in hell. While this account is not inspired scripture, it shouldn't be taken literally. It does give us an important insight into common attitude about abortion among second century Christians. You do not own yourself. Now, ownership is exclusively the right of the Creator to terminate, not the created. We cannot terminate, we should not and cannot terminate a life. It's not up to us. God is the creator, the designer, the producer, the director of the entire universe and all that is within. So if we human beings decide to end life, whether it is after birth or before, we are crossing the line. God and only God have the right to shorten a lifespan. We all die eventually. With a lifespan of approximately 90 years, He gives each of us the knowledge of how to care for ourselves in order to live a long and full life. He guarantees this, but we, as selfish human beings, seem to want to be like God, to be able to rule and make decisions of life and death. Life, no matter what the circumstance, begins at conception, when two human cells converge in the fallopian tube and immediately start dividing. And as it slowly travels down toward the uterus, it divides even more until it reaches its target, the wall of the woman's uterus. There it divides rapidly during this first trimester, the 1st to the 12th week. The baby's brain, spinal cord, and the main organ, heart, and the heart will start forming. At the same time, the baby's legs and arm buds would have just popped out. Baby is still an embryo at this stage. However, during the 8th week, your baby's major organs will start forming. The heart will also beat with a rhythm. Arms and legs will start growing longer, and toes would begin to form. Eyes will also pop up in the front, and your baby will now look more like a human. During the 12th week, your baby's external sex organs will be visible and can later find the baby's gender. Meanwhile, the woman realizes that she is pregnant and chooses to abort the thing inside of her. She made a mistake for whatever reason and needs to cover her goof, her miscalculation. She calls the hospital and schedules an appointment for the purpose of aborting the fetus. They advise her that it should be done as soon as possible, and she agrees. She is informed that the law states that she has the right to terminate her pregnancy. Now, inside her womb, the embryo continues to grow into a fetus, maturing steadily. All life systems are a go. God assures that the creation of life is automatic. All systems check out. This is going to be a healthy baby at the end of the 9 months of development. But wait, it is the woman's day of reckoning. She can still say no. I want the baby to live. Many around her give their opinions. Some encourage her to go through with the abortion. Others plead for her to let it live and give it up for adoption, as if she is the owner of the child. Who does she listen to? Who does she listen to? Well, it is the dilemma of American society. They voted for the law that allows a woman to make a choice, that she has the right to decide what happens to her body. Others have taken the stance of protecting the life of the fetus, who cannot speak for itself. All right, why don't we stop right here and continue for part 2 of God abhors abortion. And so we'll continue them. This is Reverend Jess Foglesong from Touched by God Church. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you. God's blessings to you and yours today. All right.